Hey guys, and welcome back to Super Mario 64 DS. Now that we have gathered up nearly all of the rabbits, it's time that we actually move on to some proper levels once again. And this time, wow, look at that picture of the Goombas. Actually, going after the rabbits kind of spoiled this already. That picture does nothing. Alright, maybe there's something else there. What's to the right? Ah, there's a slightly smaller picture. And it looks like that we can go in that one, but what's on the other side? Ooh, it's a slightly bigger one. It's a much bigger one. It's a considerably bigger one. I don't know why. I always found that looks a little bit better on the original. I don't know why. The Goombas look a bit weird though, because they kind of come off as a pink colour. They don't look anything like the actual Goombas in Mario 64, which don't really look like Goombas. Welcome to Tiny Huge Island. And the thing about when you're playing as Yoshi is that any character you've rescued, you can start the level by wearing one of their caps. So, in the end, again, you're not really going to be playing as Yoshi himself that much. Right, there's a little Piranha Plant here. These ones actually shoot fireballs. But if we hop into this pipe, now we get big Piranha Plant, so we have to punch. And that's what you're doing. Your jump, I don't know what is going on with the grass here, but your jump is a bit gimped. Like, you can't jump super high when you're here. That's what we gotta do. Trying to get the plants to appear, it's not always exactly clear where you have to stand. So we just keep wandering around and eventually get one to show up. You've got to be a bit careful though. It's very easy for you to run into one of them when it does that. At least you don't need to sneak up on these ones. And there's a fair few of them. I think there's like 6. Ah, I'm trying to make sure you don't run off the edge. Luckily that is there. So I managed to get lucky that time. It's one of the few times where Mario 64 seems to be generous with that sort of thing. And there we go, that's all you have to do. You can actually grind for your 100 coin mission if you want, because every time you jump into the pipe, the Piranha Plant, and then jump back through it again, the Piranha Plants do respawn. So if you want to... It's going to take a while, but... I don't know why I ran over to this painting. But you can get the 100 coin mission that way. So the gimmick with Tiny Huge Island is depending on what painting you go into, you're either going to end up on Tiny Island or Huge Island. And by jumping into the pipes, it will change things up. So when you have these big Goombas right here, if you ground pound on one of them, you'll get a blue coin. Jump on it normally, you just get a standard coin. So you always want to ground pound them. But trying to get the timing right can be a bit tricky, because it is possible you may jump and then just before you can do the ground pound, the Goomba is going to hit you, but it will still count as you being on top of it, and so it will get squished, but it will only give you the standard coin. The 100 coin mission isn't too bad in this level, provided you're playing the DS version, because, oh my god, I absolutely hate Tiny Huge Island on the original Super Mario 64. Here, it's perfectly fine. You know, I really have no issues with this level at all. But when it comes to the original version, this is it. You know, I've said before, I don't really like the original Super Mario 64. And this level is one of the reasons why. It's like, Torso Mountain teeters on the edge of it, but I can still tolerate it for the most part. But it's this level, right here, that is the absolute worst when it comes to Super Mario 64. Well, not the absolute worst. We've still got one, there's still a, I'd say TikTok Clock is the worst, but this one and Rainbow Ride are like a joint second. And it's all because of the way that Mario just reacts to the terrain. It's because he slides on everything. It's like the tiniest little slope he tends to slide down on. And then trying to recover from the slide, well, that's up to the game. It may let you jump, it might not let you jump. It may let you ground pound, it might not let you ground pound. This is the level that kills the game for me. Like, I'll have some hard times for some of the missions, like in Hazy Maze Cave, or Shifting Sand Land, or Bowser in the Fire Sea, but Otherwise, Super Mario 64 up to this point isn't really that bad. But then you get to the last 3 levels. I mean, this is technically the last level in terms of how they're numbered on the upper floor, whatever you call it. First floor, second floor, depending on what country you're in. But so yeah, it's supposed to be harder. I don't know what the point of having. I don't know why you would do that, considering that you could play the levels in any order, but then again, you wouldn't really get much of a rise in difficulty if you did. And you don't want everything to be ridiculously easy. But this level is such a difficulty spike compared to everything else, and it's all because Mario doesn't know how to react to the terrain. Everything in this level is a slope. You know, it's not so bad on Giant Island, because everything is big. But when you're on, like, tiny islands, you will die, and you will die a lot, because Mario, not only does he not know how to react to slopes, he's also gigantic compared to everything else. Nearly everything is a slope. And I hate Tiny Huge Island because of it. And again, it's really not that bad here. I can run up here, I'm going a bit slowly, but other than that it's fine. But if I should so much as stop on that slope, Mario would start sliding down. And it's like, in the original, he just keeps going once he starts sliding. Like, you have a much higher chance of stopping without doing anything on DS. And yes, you can jump to try and get out of your slide, but Mario still carries that momentum when he jumps. So you then have to try and immediately ground pound. Right, you there. Give me that blue coin. There is one mission in this level that is not found on the DS version, so we will be covering that last in a way, and it will perfectly highlight why I don't like this level. And it involves that dark square that we just passed, where all those balls are coming out of. But yeah, it's like when you're on Huge Island, it isn't really that bad. It's when you get to Tiny Island, you can see how little space you have in some of these areas. And I would never understand why these Goombas can still hurt you. But you don't actually lose health, but you still suffer the same amount of knockback, and that makes no sense to me. The Chucky's gone. There would be a Chucky up here if we were on Huge Island. It's like I can still jump on them fine, it's just... Why do they knock me back so far? They're absolutely tiny. I mean, I don't like spiders, but if a spider hit me on the shoe, like it ran towards my shoe, I'm not going to get pushed back like 6 feet. You can ground pound the top of the volcano, the mountain, whatever you call it, which is needed for a later mission. Oh, I wish these Goombas would shut up. So how did they not realise that that was an issue? Right, now we have the worst placed Chuckya, arguably, in the entire game. If it isn't him, there's a very annoyingly placed one in Rainbow Ride. And then we got the Chucksters in Super Mario Sunshine, which makes them seem like nothing. Camera is also not always your friend in these situations. Right, we don't want to go break into that. We want to make our way now inside the mountain. I'm sure this can only go well. So let's line that up. That is going in completely the wrong direction. Survey says we are going to land on the platform. No, I didn't. I went back for it. It's another big Goomba. So this area is based on the Giant Land level from Super Mario Bros. 3. Where you did have a level where you could go in through these doors and it would turn the enemies into normal size from big. I mean, it's an okay island, but it's an okay set of levels, but there isn't really anything special about it. It's like that's supposed to be the world's theme, but the theme itself is only used in a couple of levels in said world. And there we go, that's 100 coins. And since we are now in here, well, we may as well go after the red coins. Your biggest enemy here is your depth perception. Like, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how far away you are from, and at what level you are compared to the next platform. Otherwise, this one is pretty easy. Also, to me, the biggest challenge is just getting into this thing in the first place. Yeah, we didn't even need to use the blue switch. There's our switch star. I'm at 120 coins. It may not be stars, but it's 120 coins. Can I turn the game off now? You're constantly going to have the sound of that Goomba. Goomba? The Wiggler. Walking around up there. Right, and we could just drop down and completely miss. That went well. And that is that. We will be making our way back into that mountain a bit later on. After all, there was a switch though. We also got to take care of that Wiggler. I seem to prefer to just jump into Tiny Island. I don't know why. Get your Luigi caps on. Again, what is the point of Yoshi? See, that's gonna happen to you a lot when you're playing the original version. Oh, come on, I landed on it. Right, just need to get to the top, and then we have to ground pound. But what does it do? Well, the only way to find out is to switch islands. Or switch sizes, I guess, whichever one it is I'm supposed to be doing. Now, I think this is where I got a little bit confused. I don't know why I don't just go back. Or maybe this guy chucked me off, whichever it was. That's what it was. He threw me off. No, he didn't. What did I do again? I know I don't go straight into the mountain. That much I do know. I think I thought I had to go back inside the lower area. So you don't need to do this. You did literally you formed a hole now. You just have to go back up to the top of the mountain, only in giant version instead. Because that is accomplishing nothing. It isn't always possible to progress completely around the island within its certain sizes, because things are either too big to actually be able to get high enough to grab a hold of. Like this stuff over here, you want to get to that pipe, but you can't get to the pipe because the ledge is way too high. Even if you jump out of the water, you are not getting there. So it's like I need Tiny Island to do that. So unfortunately we now have to climb all the way back up. And that's just exciting! Watch out for the wind in this section, it doesn't always like to carry you. And sometimes it will do it perfectly fine like that, other times I will keep going, falling, and even though I can see the wind there, it doesn't actually do anything. And I really don't know why it does that. generally it will look like you're going to fall down towards the bottom's pit, but you would be fine. I did end up with a bit of an exception when I was going for the other star on the original version. So I still went low enough to cross the death plane. I'm surprised it doesn't do that all the time. So let me get this thing out of my way. Right, so now we can do this the right way. Get up here, and then drop in the hole. Wah! You flooded my house! Why? Look at this mess. What am I going to do now? The ceiling's ruined, the floor is soaked. What do I do? What do I do? It makes me so mad! Everything's been going wrong ever since I got the star. It's so shiny, but it makes me feel strange. And now we find out that we are actually murderers. Like, that Wiggler was living in here perfectly fine. He isn't getting angry like other Wigglers do. You know, he only gets angry because of the power of the stars, but no. No, I have no idea what's going on here. I can't take this anymore. First you get me all wet, then you stomp on me. Now I'm really, really, really mad. The glitching detection on this Wiggler though in the DS version is a bit weird. Like that wouldn't happen on the original. So the glitching detection is a bit strange. But yeah, he was just living perfectly fine. Then we flooded his house somehow. It doesn't look very flooded. And now we're just jumping on him. And he's only angry because of the power of the star. So I feel so sad for this Wiggler. I mean, typically you do feel sad for the Wiggler. It's like they're not doing anything. They're just wandering around, but then you stamp on them and they go angry. Hey, knock it off. That's the second time you've nailed me. Now you're really asking for it, linguini breath. I don't think he changes colour in the original. And in the original, it's also a load of 2D objects made to look 3D. Oh dear, I'm running low on health. That wasn't near enough to the head. I think you can land on like the second bit, like the first bit behind his head. That's it. Ouch! Uncle, uncle! Okay, I give up. Take this star. Woo! I feel better now. I don't really need it anymore anyway. I can see the stars from my ceiling at night. They make me feel peaceful. Please come back and visit anytime. Okay, he's just nice to us now. See, we just beat him up. Why could we just take the star? And then he falls to the floor and dies. I mean, I could come back and visit you anytime, but you're just going to be angry again if I do. So I'm to jump, but nope. Where am I going? What side are we going to? Tiny Island. To the top of the huge island, which I think is a name that pretty much speaks for itself. Even though technically the top of it is the bit that we had to ground pound and get into the Wiggler's house. So this isn't true. We're not actually going to the top. We're going to just before the top. So let's head on up now. I do kind of wish there was just like one or two more pipes rather than just having to make your way around to get into the next one. That wasn't right. Well, I think this is where I then decided, you know what, let's just go for the Switch Star instead. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And because I'm in Luigi, well, Luigi Cap, I am able to do that. Just easily jump my way over all that. That, on the other hand, was close. And then I forgot again. Luigi can't wall jump, but he can backflip. Switch star on the island. Isn't it more like switch star in the island? Like it's inside the cave. This time we are still going into... Why do I keep making my way towards Giant Land if I then don't actually do anything? We don't want the Mario Cat. Luigi is better in just about every way, apart from wall jumps. Luigi is the better brother. For starters, he actually has a personality. You can't say that for any of the others, can you? What personality does Mario have? Get out of the way, you stupid purple thing. Honestly, why did they have to put one of them there? But if we break open this block, we get a star! Tip top of the huge island is now complete. Rematch with Koopa the Quick. So of course this time, just like before, you need to make sure that you actually select Koopa the Quick's thing. But you actually need to select the star, otherwise he's not going to appear. The little Koopa that replaces him when you're on Tiny Island will be there. But Koopa the Quick is supposed to like represent the big version of him, so I guess that means we are killing Koopa the Quick when he's small. I have no idea. Unfortunately that happened. And you have to be Mario. Luckily I think we can still get up there by the power of that tree. Or when we're under attack by a giant carnivorous fish. These cheap sheeps, they're out for blood. Okay then, I did not do that right. Again, Mario and Luigi are such faster swimmers, it's insane how they thought Wario was a good idea. Even Yoshi swims really slowly as well. Despite what we see in like Super Mario World. Or even Yoshi's Island, you can still swim in that game, but only on the surface, without turning into a submarine. Right, since we're in the cannon, let's hop on up here! That was not the way I should have done that, but I don't care. It got me results, damn it. But that is the wrong way to go about that. I hate these freaking balls. They do nothing but get in your way because they can land on you from right there. Right. So now we can speak to Koopa the Quick, just as soon as I get rid of these Goombas. Because they do hinder me a bit in the race, only a slight bit, because they're Goombas. Long time no see! Wow, you've gotten fast. Have you been training on the slide, or is it the power of the stars? I've been feeling down about losing the last race. This is my bonus course. It's my home course. How about a race? Whatever all that was. So this race is pretty much the same as what we had to do before. It's a bit shorter and a bit more difficult, but otherwise it's really not that much of an issue. I managed to get this in one try. Koopa is faster though. That's one thing you've got to keep in mind. He does move faster. Other than that, there isn't really anything to say about the mission. You know, we've already done something like this. I can't believe you beat me again. And I just spent all my money on these new Super Koopa Sprint sneakers. I guess we have to find out. Whatever that all said, I'm not giving myself enough time to read these damn things. And that's it. If you fail the race, it doesn't actually kick you out, you just can't do the race again. You gotta go and do another mission. Klepto the Condor. So we've seen this guy a couple of times already. This is the mission that's exclusive to the DS version. So once again, we just have to get the attention of the vulture. This Klepto guy. Easier said than done, really. He does also only appear on one-sized islands. So you do need to be on Tiny Island in order to get him to appear. Oh, these freaking Goombas. They're the tiniest things in the world, but for some reason they still hurt me. Stop chasing after me. That didn't go well. Let's try that again. Really, all you can really do is just wait for him to get into a good position and then just jump. There's really no other strategy for this. Trying to make sure that your characters can react to terrain properly and that there isn't a tiny little Goomba there. He hovers around in that one spot for a bit and then he will go off on a circuit of the island. Alright, let's try this with Mario instead. Then, or Luigi, let's try it with Luigi instead. This stupid terrain. No, I have to wait again. Wait for him to... Oh, there we go. But why does the star have to go all the way over there? Like, whose idea was that? Well, that wasn't right. Luckily, it turns out the solution is actually quite simple. There's a switch here, which then forms a bridge, which you're then going to use to get over here. If you're going for these coins, make sure you have enough time in order for yourself to get back. And there we go, that is Tiny Huge Island done. But we've still technically got one more mission left to show off. I feel this just has a better effect here. I don't know why. The Goombas look a bit weird. But everything looks weird in Super Mario 64 nowadays. Even Mario when he gets too far away from the camera. So this is the original Tiny Huge Island, and this mission requires you to find 5 small holes. That includes that one I just went into. They have to be on Tiny Island. So there's that doorway that I just went through here. There is the cannon. There is the top of the mountain. There is the section where all of those balls are coming through. And there's the section where you jump into the mountain. Not where you jump, but where you go into the mountain. See, somehow I survived that. I don't know how, because I did die at a previous point as well. This took me like a number of tries. And eventually... I was also running out of time. I was kind of rushing this a bit, but... Because of that, and because of just how much I hate this level, and after trying it like 5 or 6 times, and it's not exactly the quickest mission in the world, so I stopped. Spoiler warning, I'm showing the location of the holes, but I'm not showing you the location of the star, which I think is in the same place as the Klepto one. So that's our first one. But again, this right here, this is the level that kills Super Mario 64's me. It's because stuff like that likes to happen. It just ruins the whole experience, especially stuff like this. It's so much harder to maneuver along that thing. We're just trying to get up that slope, Jesus Christ. It's way harder to walk along this now. So even the Mario cam, it only does so much. Because it's always behind Mario, so the slightest left and right movement, Mario will change direction and the camera is going to move. So we need to get up here. Oh, I missed. That's 3. The next one just up here. Luckily we can jump for it. There we go. That's 4. Finding where the holes are isn't that big of an issue. Right, you compare this to, say, searching for the secrets in Wet Dry World, where I'd say there isn't really any indication as to what you're looking for. Here it's pretty simple. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the same location as the Klepto star. Unfortunately, the game doesn't want me to go and actually pick up the star. So we're not going to be collecting the star. Go on, Mario. Go. I didn't even jump into it, I just ran. So let's head on in here. I mean, it's an interesting idea, just, you know, switching between a bigger island and a smaller island. It's just, A, this wasn't particularly that interesting in Mario 3, and B, it sucks. Because stuff like this likes to happen. And that's going to happen to you a lot in Super Mario 64. And Sunshine. It happens quite a bit in that as well. That was close. Not that it means anything. So now let's try going over here. And just... So now we're going to trying to go against the wind. And again, it's not really... There we go. The wind stops just at the wrong time. That's Tiny Huge Island. It sucks. This is the game over screen. See you guys.